Hey, what's up, guys? Purple Dream Live Sports. I'm back here for some more NBA talk, basically. So this video, I wanted to talk about the Eastern Conference because it kind of seems that I may have ignored them, but I really haven't. It's kind of different because with the East, it's weird because Kawhi Leonard left, and obviously teams, as in the Philadelphia 76ers, the Milwaukee Bucks, teams of that nature that who are actually two of the top three or four teams in the East last year, actually made some good moves. Not necessarily the Bucks because they lost some key pieces as well. But the Philadelphia 76ers got Tobias Harris back on a huge contract. They brought back they signed Al Horford. Yes, they signed Al Horford, which to me was very questionable. And then they got Josh Richardson in a sign and trade with the Miami Heat. So now I'm still questionable about Philadelphia. Now I think the moves aren't bad. They're very good moves. We're trying to build a team. Just me, once again, I don't know who they have on their bench because it seems like they want to build a top-heavy team, but you don't want to have depth behind it. So I do understand that they're going to have a great center on the court for 48 minutes in Al Horford and Joel Embiid. But what other core positions do you have really? Because I don't know really any players on the bench because you're going to start Ben Simmons at point guard, Josh Richardson at the 2, Tobias Harris at the 3, Al Horford at the 4, and then Joel Embiid at the 5. So those are your 5 stars, which is a great starting 5. But there's no shooting to me really on the bench. There's no defense that I know about on the bench. So what Philadelphia's gonna have to prove to me is that they're really probably gonna have to outscore and play great defense for about 30 the whole time the stars are on the court, because if they have a bad start or they're off to bad starts in the games, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Because even though you can leave a bunch of your stars on the floor, your bench isn't really, I don't trust enough to come in and make runs, kind of turn the tide. I just don't know anybody on the bench, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have enough confidence in that yet. So that remains to be seen. That remains to be looked at. Are they going to add more pieces in the offseason? Probably, yeah. It's just they're not really looking to me. They're not really looking at that point, and that's kind of it's not really concerning. It's just questionable on their part. But now, I also want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. They did need to keep Chris Middleton, even though they could have used that money elsewhere, maybe to probably put around a bunch of other core shooters. He's a guy who can shoot and defend multiple. He can shoot really great. He can defend multiple positions because of his great size. It's just the 5-year, $178 million. It just puts you in a position where, like I said, you want to have good stars around your superstar. But in this day and age where players are demanding max contracts and getting the money they can cash for at that moment that they can, you're in a position now where the money that you could have, it's just crazy because to me, you already re-signed Eric Bledsoe, which to me was it was questionable. I would have kept Chris Middleton and let Eric Bledsoe walk. That's just what I would have done. Because as great as Eric Bledsoe is, he's a first-team all-defense player, which is very questionable. Well, not questionable. He's a great defender. Was he first team? I have no freaking clue. Didn't watch him a lot this season. You could have, to me, you definitely got to keep Malcolm Brogdon. That was a huge loss. I would have let Eric Bledsoe go. What do I do with Chris Middleton? Saving the team $12 million to me doesn't do a whole lot of justice. He could have signed for 5 years, 190. He said 5 years, 178. You guys couldn't really get him a compromise. 5 years, 160. I mean, if you save the team $30 million, guess what? $30 million can be redistributed in many different ways. That's how I look at it. You brought back Brook Lopez on a 4-year, $52 million deal. Understand that because he stretches the floor and he's an excellent rim protector. And then you bring in Robin Lopez. I understand that to a certain extent. But they lost Nikola Mirotic too, and he actually went to Europe when he probably could have made more money in Milwaukee probably. I got question marks about Milwaukee too. I do like Giannis. I think if he develops a mid-range shot to a decent three-point shot, then the league's going to be in trouble. The East is going to be in trouble because if he's scoring on the perimeter and then he's dishing it out to teammates and getting to the rim, well, what the hell are you going to do about all that? So the league just better hopes that he just likes going to the rim and that he doesn't like to shoot the basketball as much, because I saw a whole bunch of confidence in him this year that he's willing to airball, miss three-point shots, miss mid-range to scare you into what he can be if he develops a three-point shot, which is what I believe Ben Simmons should be doing, but he doesn't want to attempt a three-point shot, so it is what it is. Now on to Boston. It's, to me, Boston's kind of like this in Golden State in a certain way, where they've lost two great pieces in Al Horford, which is huge to me. That's bigger than losing Kyrie Irving, because if you have Al Horford, you have a great leader still intact, and then you have all these pieces around him, which they play better as a team when Kyrie wasn't on the floor, even though they're a better team with Kyrie. But they brought in a lot of great young pieces, as in Grant Williams out of Tennessee. They brought in Carson Edwards, who I think can really be a great scorer off the bench in a limited minutes role, behind Kemba Walker, who I think was a great signing because he's a great locker room presence. And then Jason Tatum, to me, is only going to grow. Jaylen Brown, excellent defender. He probably should have been second team all defense this year, because I believe he's that talented of a defender. That was his role coming out of college back in 2017. And then he's only going to grow to me. I think Gordon Hayward's probably going to be really good this year. I think they got to do a better job of really kind of... They put... Danny Ainge, the GM for the Celtics, put Brad Stevens, the coach, in a bad spot, because to me, he didn't really... Even though it's a coach's job to blueprint, minutes and things of that nature, he didn't really give him, I think, too much leeway as in how to really get these players to work together. And then you got guys in Terry Rozier who... Questionable why you're talking about, airing out the team's laundry on television on First Take, talking about how he sacrificed for Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving. That has to be managed better this year if they're going to make a run. And if Gordon Hayward's back to, scoring 20 plus, and then you have guys playing with each other, I think getting Kyrie, Terry Rozier, and just those two actually off the roster to me helps, because I think those two were, I don't know if they didn't like each other or I don't know what it was, but getting those two, they're gone. This team has got to really build itself and work together, and I think they're a team that needs to stop being slept on. Indiana Pacers got a huge addition in Malcolm Brogdon. They did lose, I think it was Bojan Bogdanovic to the Utah Jazz, which is going to help the Utah Jazz hugely because of his shooting ability, because he's a very consistent three-point shooter. He can shoot the mid-range off the dribble, a very consistent defender. That's going to help Utah, but getting Malcolm Brogdon for Indiana gets them another backcourt guy for Victor Oladipo. Their defense is already excellent. You had another excellent backcourt defender along with Victor Oladipo, who I think probably was second team all defense this year, if not first. And if he didn't make a defensive team, it was because he got injured. But those two are going to be excellent defensively. Offensively, Malcolm Brogdon can drive. He can shoot. He was a 50-40-90 guy. 50% from the field, 40% from three, 90% from the line. Steph Curry, part of that crew. Steve Nash, Reggie Miller, KD. You see how elite that group is. Larry Bird. Let's not forget Larry Bird. Mark Price. I'm just naming guys who have done it. So, but yeah, I just like the moves that Indiana made. I think that's going to help them out a lot. But I think that's going to do it, because the Magic did re-sign Nikola Vujic, who I told you guys about, and Terrence Ross, but I don't think that really helps him out pretty much, because you probably should have went out and got a point guard. But to me, Orlando's just not a great, attractive NBA team to a lot of guys, I think. So I think they're going to keep rebuilding inward in terms of draft picks, but they played excellent last season down the stretch. What is Miami going to do? They did trade Hassan Whiteside for Myers Leonard. They did get some draft picks back, I think. They got Jimmy Butler, which to me is a good signing. Do they go get Chris Paul from Oklahoma City? I heard Oklahoma City isn't really giving many enticing offers because they don't want to depart with draft picks. But you have so many draft picks that, OKC's got to stop being, stop acting like a baby. Give him some draft picks to go along with Chris Paul. Get that bad contract off of your books and just live on. Because if Miami gets a Chris Paul, because he's not really a scorer, he's a guy who distributes the ball. That helps out Jimmy Butler a lot because you don't really. He wants to be the guy. He will still be the guy. You just got Chris Paul who's going to distribute the ball, get you. They can work together. So I don't know what's up with OKC. Kind of get the ball rolling, please. But that's going to do it for East because I think those top 4, 5, 6 teams that I just talked about are really going to be the teams right there that really makes an impact. Toronto, almost forgot, is a team. They just lost Kawhi Leonard, and I think they only lost Jeremy Lin, but that's it. So to me, they're going to compete. Are they going to win a title? No. I don't consider them title favorites. I don't consider them. They could be title contenders, but a lot of things have to fall into place. But I like the core that they kept. Pascal Siakam's going to be really good this year, especially because he's probably going to be the primary option. You kept Marc Gasol. You have Serge Ibaka, Kyle Lowry. He's stepped up in the playoffs. I think he needed that playoff run to really kind of gain confidence for this next coming up season and playoff season next year. So they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. I like them still. That's going to do it for this video for Purpose Driven Live Sports. That was, NBA talk, Eastern Conference, preseason preview. But we still got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to be probably going to doing some more team breakdowns. Like I said again, we probably shouldn't sleep too hard on the Celtics because they made some really good team moves to kind of offset the things that they lost. So to me, they're kind of like the Warriors where we're sleeping a little too hard on them. Alex Samalajic is the guy who I've been talking about from Serbia for the Warriors, who's going to be, to me, a big addition to them. But the Warriors, Celtics, teams that you probably shouldn't sleep on too hard. So I think it's going to do it for me today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Always leave a comment because I read those and I respond. Thank you guys again, and I will see you guys next time.